Reid Technique. The Reid Technique is a widely used method involving direct confrontation. The interrogator starts by accusing the suspect and then offers justifications to make them feel better about confessing. They handle denials firmly, present alternative scenarios, and try to get the suspect to explain the details of the crime. Finally, they convert the confession into a written document. Cognitive interviewing. This technique helps suspects recall more details by reconstructing the context of the event. The interrogator asks the suspect to report everything, even minor details, and may ask them to recall the events in different orders or from different perspectives. Peace model. The peace model involves thorough preparation and planning. The interrogator engages with the suspect, explains the process, and obtains the suspect's account of events. They clarify details and challenge inconsistencies. The session ends with a summary and an evaluation of the information gathered. Good cop, bad cop. In this technique, two interrogators work together. One is aggressive and confrontational, the bad cop, while the other is sympathetic and kind, the good cop. This contrast is meant to confuse and wear down the suspect, making them more likely to confess to the good cop. Kinesic interviewing. Kinesic interviewing focuses on analyzing the suspect's body language, facial expressions, and verbal cues to detect deception. The interrogator tailors their questions and approach based on the suspect's emotional and cognitive responses. Emotional manipulation. This technique involves playing on the suspect's emotions, such as guilt, fear, or sympathy, to elicit a confession. The interrogator might use personal stories or emotional appeals to create a connection with the suspect. Information gathering. Here, the interrogator asks open-ended questions that allow the suspect to provide information freely. They demonstrate active listening, which encourages the suspect to keep talking and reveal more details. Ego up, ego down. Ego up involves flattering the suspect to boost their self-esteem, making them more willing to talk. Ego down involves criticizing or belittling the suspect to lower their self-esteem, making them more compliant and likely to confess. Establishing a timeline. The interrogator asks the suspect to provide a detailed timeline of events. This technique helps identify inconsistencies or gaps in the suspect's story, making it easier to challenge their account. Use of evidence. Presenting evidence involves showing the suspect what the interrogator has against them to prompt a confession. Sometimes the interrogator might bluff and pretend to have evidence that doesn't exist to pressure the suspect into confessing. Mutt and Jeff. Similar to good cop, bad cop, this technique uses alternating kind and harsh interrogators to confuse and wear down the suspect, increasing the likelihood of a confession. Silence. The interrogator uses prolonged periods of silence to make the suspect uncomfortable. The awkward silence can pressure the suspect into talking to fill the void. Maximization and minimization. Maximization involves exaggerating the severity of the offense and potential consequences to intimidate the suspect. Minimization, on the other hand, downplays the offense or suggests justifications, making the suspect feel more comfortable about confessing. Rapport building. Building rapport means establishing a trusting relationship with the suspect. The interrogator aims to create a sense of trust, making the suspect more willing to talk openly. Direct approach. The direct approach is a straightforward technique where the interrogator asks clear and concise questions to get information quickly. This method avoids any pretense or manipulation, focusing on honesty and transparency. The interrogator presents the questions in a simple and easy-to-understand manner, ensuring that the suspect knows exactly what is being asked of them. This approach can be effective when time is of the essence, or when dealing with suspects who appreciate direct communication. These techniques can be used individually or in combination, depending on the situation and the suspect. Ethical use is crucial, as coercion or abuse can lead to false confessions and violate human rights. It's important for interrogators to maintain a balance between gathering necessary information and respecting the rights and dignity of the suspect.